ultimate competition. Pit Fighter. That's some great music. I don't remember that. Couldn't really hear a lot of the sound effects of this back in the day. Well, not so much the music. Everything else seemed to drown this out. But 1990 Fighter. Let's go through it. This was a game that, you know, I always... The buzz. Let's go with Buzz here first. I'm sure we'll be continuing. Yeah, definitely an innovative game at the time. I remember putting a lot of quarters into this. Not so much because it was a great game. I mean, it got everybody's attention, but it was also, you know, just kind of a good way to kill some time. Oh my god. Yeah, we're gonna lift you up on this forklift, buddy. Congratulations. Yeah, take that Southside jump. Yeah, I mean, this was, I think, something people don't acknowledge as much as they probably should. Is I think one of the reasons Mortal Kombat became as huge of a hit as it was when it came out was because of the digitized graphics. And not just the digitized graphics, but it was the game that we wanted Pit Fighter to be, basically, when you saw the digitized graphics. This is just, it's very choppy. It's really goofy, but, you know, it's kind of cool to have a digitized character. Still, huge novelty in 1990 when this came out, no doubt about that. Oh, grudge match. That sucked. You loser.
Just wait.
Whoa, who's that guy? Did I get that power bill? Totally studless. Win that money, lift that forklift a little higher each time. Let's go with Kato this time. Jesus. We're going back to the... Yeah, kind of a precursor to the fighting game craze that kicked off with, really with Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat. It was Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, I should say. The Street Fighter 2 was popular, but with Championship Edition, that's when it got really nuts, and I remember just seeing those games everywhere. Hey, we won. But Pit Fighter came first, kind of mixing a beat 'em up thing with the fighting game. It's pretty cool. I'm looking at this and I'm actually surprised at how well I think the graphics, how impressive they still are when you take the time into effect. I mean, it handles like gas. Definitely not the best game. He's coming at me with it. Get up, Buzz. Chain Man. We should call him Diaper Man. Oh, we got him. But yeah, this was incredibly popular because, you know, with the digitized graphics, nothing else looked like it. And it wasn't, we can make fun of it for as clunky as the controls are and everything nowadays, especially after, you know, having real fighting games perfect. You know, Mortal Kombat really got the digitization down, and the movements of fighting, especially compared to, you know, Pit Fighter. But, you know, nothing like this had really been done. Definitely nothing was on the market like it. Getting that special move in, the body slam. Oh, pile driver. You know, I don't think I was really aware of the special moves back in the day. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. You get 3 people playing this, and it was a good time. And, you know, like I was saying, as cheesy as it is now, it wasn't cheap. You know, like a lot of games that try to do a gimmicky thing like this would have like really shitty gameplay. Wow, the Gimp is pissed off. And, you know, yeah, this doesn't have the best gameplay, but it's definitely not the worst. You don't feel like the controls are really fucking you over. They're a little slow, but it's not, it doesn't feel broken or, you know, rigged. Like it's just trying to steal your money. And especially for an Atari game, having that sort of feeling that it's not just trying to steal money from you is pretty impressive. Because Atari games, and especially at the time, and you know, there's a lot of them I love, but they're quarter thieves. You know, like 720, big excuse. Even Paperboy to a degree. The thing about Pit Fighter, though, and it was one thing to play it in the arcade, where we knew what we were getting, and you knew it wasn't great, you know, like it was nobody's favorite game. It was a fun game to play. If you saw it there, it'd be like, okay, you know what? I'll throw a quarter in this, and I'll go for a bit. It wasn't a, you know, like I'm gonna avoid that at all costs. Are we fighting Cheech Marin now? Jesus. And I like the novelty was really all about the graphics. And so when it came out for the home systems in '91, that was a really surprising thing. I mean, not really, because of how much of a hit it was in the arcades. But, I mean, it came out for a lot of systems, and that couldn't graphically really handle it. And the graphics were the whole thing. Yeah, about this game. It wasn't like, oh, that it was so much fun to beat up on people. It was the digitized graphics. That was what really drew people in. And, you know, in the 16-bit systems, you could get some of that. I mean, we saw great versions of Mortal Kombat, for example, on the Genesis, and, you know, on the Super Nintendo too, despite the blood thing on the SNES. It still looked like Mortal Kombat. It still looked good. And when you brought a game like Pit Fighter in, didn't we just fight him in round 2? What's going on here? I think he got different pants on. I hope these are his shitting pants, because he is gonna shit his pants. Oh, fuck. Get away from me, Southside Jim. Alright. Trying to get those special moves in. Alright. Oh, man. Alright. So that's how Jim meant business. Good amount of money to be made pit fighting. But yeah, I mean, this came out for things like the Atari Lynx. I want to say Game Gear. I'll have to. Do I have time to look it up? Yeah, we're starting. What the hell? Alright. Get out of there. I've never been this far in the game before. So, shit. is probably the most homosexual fighting game that exists outside of that Choaniki series in Japan. And it's mostly shooters, but I think there was a fighting version for Super Famicom. Anyway, I can't even get up. Well, wow. Now we get to fight the Gimp. We don't get any health back. Warrior, more like Gimp. Hey, I was gonna use those. Alright. Hey. Wasn't even near the crowd. Wow, we beat him in just under 2 minutes. Look at that. All right. So that was Pit Fighter. Yeah, in 1991, versions of the game were released for the Super NES, Genesis, Master System, the Amiga, Amstrad, Atari ST, Commodore 64, MS-DOS, and the ZX Spectrum. And all right, SNES and Genesis. It was definitely a okay. Graphically, this would be pretty cool, but we all knew of Mortal Kombat at that time, which took the novelty of digitized characters and actually made it good, made it into a really awesome, super fun game. I remember when it came out, like, who's gonna get the home version? Like, yeah, if I'll go to Aladdin's Castle, I might drop a quarter in and play it just out of like looking for something to play. But getting a home version of this, even when the novelty was still fresh, like a home version was not something that people were really clamoring for. I mean, it could be if it actually looked like this, but what you weren't playing it for the gameplay. You were playing it for the novelty of actually having like real people, the digitized graphics. So the fact that they actually made ports for the Master System, for the Commodore 64, and for DOS is just mind-boggling. And yeah, the Spectrum, but I mean that's for English people, and like who cares about them? I mean, everything came out on the Spectrum, and they all sucked. But if you're English, that's what you had. So more power, but like still, I mean, like of all the things you could do, take this game that you know isn't. And again, it's still kind of fun, but like the controls are clunky, and part of that is the digitization was new. Part of that is it was just kind of put together, you know, that way. But why on earth would you want this on the Master System? Why on earth would you want to play this on DOS or Commodore 64? I mean, yeah, I guess with those, there could have been some novelty there that would have made it better, or potentially could have in some way. But let's be honest, those versions just sucked. And yeah, there was a handheld version for the Lynx and the Game Boy in 1992. So you could have played this on the Game Boy. And again, I just gotta ask why. Why the hell would you want to do that? And of course, Tiger Electronics released its own piece of shit handheld version. But anyway, that was Pit Fighter. Yeah. We play Pit Fighter.